Today's episode of The Real Deal with Adrien is brought to you by the three-point conversion. Now, three-point conversion is where fans' opinions matter. So if you're a sports fan, you want to get your updates as quickly as humanly possible, make sure you follow the three-point conversion on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or go check out the threepointconversion.com to get in-depth articles on all sports: basketball, football, hockey, NASCAR. Yep, we cover that too. So make sure you follow the three-point conversion on all those platforms because, again, it's where fans' opinions truly matter. Thank you for listening to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. This is Real Sports Talk for the Real Sports fan, and I definitely appreciate all you Real Sports fans who are listening right now. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you. Do not forget to give us that 5-star rating, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. That 5-star rating and review, it would definitely be appreciated. If you're listening on the Three-Point Conversion station on Spreaker Radio, thank you again. It's where fans' opinions matter. So please let us know if you think of the show. If you think the show is hot, please shout it out loud. I think the show is hot and I'm proud. If you think the show can improve, don't be so loud with it. But let us know exactly what you think the show can improve on, all right? Because your opinion does matter to us. And today I'm very excited about this episode. It's called Rings, Rings, and Rings. So we're going to talk about 3 different types of rings. Championship rings. I'm also going to have a boxing ring segment. We're actually going to start off talking about onion rings. You're probably going to wonder why we talk about onion rings. And to help me talk about football, onion rings, and other things, I have my man on for the second time. You know, he's highly requested. Former NFL vet, 9-year guy, someone who's a very, very good football player, great athlete, okay on the basketball court. My man, Jerry Porter, 8-year vet with the Raiders, 1 year with the Jaguars, wide receiver extraordinaire. How you doing today, man?
I'm well, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Now, I want to talk to you about what happened with the Clemson Tiger football team. Now, for everybody who may not know, Clemson won the national championship in college. They destroyed Alabama, which I was totally shocked by. And they have a pretty young team. Look like they could be here for years to come. And one of the things that happens when you win a national championship or a pro championship, you get a chance to go to the White House. Now, we're not going to talk politics on this show. That's not what we do here. But they got a chance to go to the White House. They visit Trump in the White House. And you would think that it'll be fine dining. But when they get there, it's Mickey D's. So you got Big Macs, Whoppers, you got Wendy's. They ain't even got Chick-fil-A. You would think they would at least get Chick-fil-A. They ain't even got Chick-fil-A. So you get there, you got all this fast food. So from a player's perspective, if you win a championship, you get a chance to go to the White House, and you get there, and you see Big Macs, Wendy's, Whoppers, what would be your reaction?
First off, I got to thank you for allowing me to come back on this show because I had a great time the first time, and was looking forward to come back because I have a lot to say all the time, and no platform to let it off. So, you asked me about going to the White House, and first off, every coach, be it from the first levels of football when you start getting serious, first levels of sports when you start getting serious, they tell you to stay away from fast food. That McDonald's, it's crap. The Wendy's, the Burger King, the pizzas, all that nonsense is crap. And for Clemson's football team to show up to the White House and be served the exact crap that coaches tell you not to have because it's bad for you, it's just bad for you. It's just not the highest quality of food. It's comical. That's all I can say about it. It's comical because if I went being myself, I put myself in a college athlete's shoes, and I'm going to the White House. I'm going to be enamored with the White House. Wow, all this history that's happened here. And I go over to the dining room, and there's Big Macs. I mean, the fat kid side of me says, yay, let's go. But the athlete side of me says, I can't eat this. This is against everything I'm trying to do. I'm trying to perfect my craft, which means monitoring and making sure the best goes in so that the best comes out. So with that being said, I would have... again, the fat kid would have been good, but the athlete would have been, I'm going to pass. I would just have water or something like that.
That's the thing with me. Like, I feel like the food should match my attire. So if I have to we go into the White House, we got to wear a suit and tie. I want suit and tie food.
Knife and fork,
Yeah.
cotton napkin, things like that. But if you're going to give me like, first off, shout out to Wendy's. I love Wendy's. And my inner fat kid says, yes, give me with a Dave's triple with bacon, extra cheese. But I'm not playing anymore. I'm 40 years old. At 19, 20 years old, if I'm conscious and my ultimate goal is to go pro, I'm making conscious decisions to not eat crap like that.
Yeah.
It is a time and a place for it, and it's called when you're established in life or you're on the road and you really don't have another alternative. That's right there staring you in the face. Eat that, but still eat smart from that. Because, I mean, I don't want to take shots at McDonald's or any of these places, but if there's a question about what the meat is, you probably shouldn't eat it.
Nah, that's very true. And that's just the thing for me, man. Like, if you're going to have, like I said, you go to the White House, you got to wear a suit and tie. I want suit and tie food. So give me, steak and lobster or prime rib. Because I'm pretty sure, they probably had their differences about if they're going to go or not and stuff like that because of, how this guy is so polarizing. So when you have that, at least when you go there, you're like, okay, at least going to eat good.
Well, the crazy thing about it was it happened so quickly. And with the government situation being what it is, it being the federal government's closed down, maybe they were lacking staff. I mean, we don't know all the inner workings of it. And usually there's I'm going to say usually because I've never been close enough to going to the White House for anything like that. But you would think right after the national championship, they're going to go back to school, get their praise from their fans in their school. And maybe a week or so later, they are going to be announced that Clemson's going to the White House at this date. But it seemed like they won the national championship Wednesday morning they were at the White House.
Yeah.
So it was like a quick turnaround, and I mean, I want to give them to again keep politics out of it.
Yeah.
I want to give the White House people the benefit of the doubt and say they may have been understaffed and wouldn't have been anybody to accommodate 125 kids coming, plus coaching staff and families and whoever else came. But I think they need a do-over.
Yeah.
They honestly, those kids deserve a really good meal. I mean, that's just the icing on the cake from the national championship, 15-0. They get to hoist the trophy. They got the trip to the White House. That's the last thing that they need. So, I mean, even if Clemson does it, do right by the kids, get them that nice steak and lobster dinner or the filet mignon, whatever it is they want. Just, I feel like they're owed that.
Definitely. I think they're owed that. And you mentioned how quick a turnaround it was. I wonder if it was scheduled for whoever won, they will come that following Wednesday. And it was going to be like, okay, you should, even if it's the shutdown, hey, Trump, you're a baller. Ball out. Go ahead and give us that good meal. So for me, like I said, I would have been disappointed if I was a student and I came in and saw the burgers and stuff. Like you said, it's bad for you. I can't lie. I've eaten a lot of it in my life, but I'm also not a professional athlete or someone aspiring to be a professional athlete at this point in my life. So at that point, I would be like, come on, man, let me get this good meal. And plus, if I'm going to show up in a suit and tie, like I said, I want suit and tie food. If you're serving fast food, let me know ahead of time so I can come in an old T-shirt and some sweatpants.
Hey, it's way more comfortable to travel in sweatpants.
Exactly. So we're going to serve the fast food. Let me know so I can come in my sweatpants and be comfortable. But we both agree that they should get like a do-over, do their own thing where they get to eat some good food to celebrate such a wonderful season that they had. And they definitely deserve that. But it's just something that's going to be funny. Probably a funny memory that they're going to have. Like, we ate McDonald's on silver platters in the White House.
And the internet is having a blast with it. I've seen from the crying Jordan memes where they put the crying Jordan face head on everybody standing in line. I mean, to be honest, the kids probably won't have a problem with it. Yeah. But it's everybody on the outside looking in saying that, oh, this is wrong and this is wrong and they shouldn't have this or that. I mean, that could be used as their cheat day. I mean, throughout the season, most people don't take too many cheat days, or they shouldn't take too many cheat days. And when it comes down to it, we don't have practice tomorrow. Maybe I can be a I ain't gonna say be a slob because I don't want to take a shot at anybody else who loves to eat McDonald's, Wendy's, pizza, and all that stuff like that. Yeah. But it's a chance for them to get off a regimen, get off the daily day-to-day grind because they got some time off. So maybe I haven't heard too much backlash from the kids, so maybe they enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's true. They could have enjoyed it at that age, between 18 and 22. McDonald's is still...
And metabolism is still fast. It burnt it off. They already done with it already.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm getting to the age where now it's not as fast anymore.
No, sir. And it only gets slower.
So, let's move on to the NFL. This past week, we had a divisional round of the playoffs. The first matchup I want to talk about was the first matchup on Saturday. We had Kansas City take on the Colts. And before I get into the matchup, what was your thoughts going into the matchup? Who did you thought was going to win? And did it turn out the way you thought it was going to turn out?
To be honest, I thought the more experienced quarterback would be able to do more in this situation. But I also know that the playoffs, when you're the home team and you've had a week to rest and you get to come off some injuries, guys with nagging injuries get just one extra week of rest, plus your coaching staff gets a chance to game plan for the team coming into your building, you're at the advantage. I know that that Andy Reid does a great job with these guys because he's got his gun has a lot of bullets and they're coming from everywhere. I mean, you have your receivers. They even got Sammy Watkins back. You got Watkins and Tyreek Hill and Kelsey at tight end and pretty much plug and play at running back. So those guys, they had a chance to see Indy. And Indy, who did Indy play the week before? Houston. Indy slapped Houston around pretty good, and we're riding a high and thinking they were going to ride that into Kansas City, but Kansas City extinguished that immediately.
Yes, I was on the same thought. I picked the Colts to win this game. I was like, I'm going to go with the big upset, swing, and missed by a mile. And the reason I thought that the Colts could win, Kansas City's defense has been subpar all year. They've had a couple of weeks here and there where they looked good. It looked good against your Raiders the last week.
That's not my Raiders. Please don't put that on me. Everybody looks good against the Raiders.
That's true. They look good against the Raiders. And Kansas City, I'm thinking, okay, you have the Colts who have a good running game with Mac. You got the veteran quarterback in Luck, like you mentioned. Their defense behind that rookie has been balling. Like, okay, they can go into Kansas City. You got the young quarterback. I'm like, my prediction was it was going to be a close game, high scoring. The young quarterback was going to make a mistake at the end, where Luck did make that mistake. But this game was so far-fetched and so far apart that it didn't matter if Mahomes made a mistake.
When you have Justin Houston coming off one side, commanding all that line attention, and D Ford on the opposite side, I mean, pressure bust pipes. They're getting pressure on Andrew Luck. They have a really good line. They've really addressed the line. And with the guard Quentin Nelson, he's a manimal. All pro as a rookie. That's unheard of. They play well, but it's something about Kansas City. They just kind of like flipped a switch. That's why I don't want to say it, but it could be ugly for New England this week because that is a juggernaut. I mean, they showed it during the regular season, and a week off. They even gave Eric Berry the week off because that Achilles and the possible snow, and you don't want to risk it. You're going to have him a week fresher, like from sitting out a week. Actually, 2 weeks fresher because he didn't play in that game, and they had the first round bye.
Yeah.
So, it's tough because I do not like picking against New England as much as I'm not a Patriot fan. I mean, all they do is win.
That's true, but you don't have to make your pick yet. We still have time to go into that one. And just to go over what happened in the Kansas City and Colts game, Kansas City won 31-13. It was just a dominant performance. Just to go over some of the dominance, they won the first down battle 29-13. Time possession 39 minutes and 49 seconds to 20 minutes and 11 seconds. Andrew Luck went 19 for 36, 263 yards, 1 touchdown. Marlon Mack only had 9 carries for 46 yards, and T.Y. Hilton only had 60 yards receiving on 4 receptions. Patrick Mahomes didn't have the crazy games that we've been seeing him have all year, but he was very consistent in his game. He didn't make the mistake. He went 27 for 41, 278 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Damian Williams, you got an excellent first name, had 25 carries for 129 yards, 1 touchdown. They definitely made up for the lack of having Kareem Hunt there. Travis Kelce had 7 receptions for 108 yards, and Tyreek Hill, the beast he is, had 8 receptions for 72 yards in this game. So from those stats, you just see the dominance that Kansas City put on. Like I said, I was shocked by it. I'm glad I wasn't alone in my shock of the dominance.
The craziest thing of it all, Damian Williams was not a starter. Damian Williams was on the bench in Miami, platooning after Jay Ajayi left. They didn't see enough of him to make him the lead cow, the bell cow back. Situation presents itself in Kansas City. Look at what he's doing. I mean, hats off to that guy. I'm like, he kept his head down, kept grinding, and his time came, and he's doing his thing. Mahomes didn't make mistakes. He kept the team. Basically, when you have the ball for 40 minutes and you're playing defense the way you are, that's just the recipe to win, especially in the playoffs, especially in the inclement weather like that. It was had snow on the ground. The footing may have been an issue. The Colts are an indoor team. Kansas City's an outdoor team. Like, all those things stacked against the Colts, even though we both thought that maybe Andrew Luck could pull some magic out. Yeah. That just shows that, like, Andy Reid and those Chiefs, as much as I'm not a Chiefs fan either, I mean, God, they are very, very strong, and they're a very formidable opponent.
Yes, definitely. Now let's move on to the next matchup that happened on Saturday. We had the Rams take on Dallas. What were your thoughts going into this matchup?
I like a lot of the players on Dallas, on the Cowboys team. I love their backers, Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith. Those guys run to the ball and they arrive violently. So I thought the way the Cowboys played defense towards the latter part of the season, they were going to take that the previous win, take that momentum, and maybe be able to do something against the Rams. But the Rams ran the ball like, you have a strong defense, we have a strong run game. We're going to see who wins. And they ran the ball down their throat. And if there were any more time left, it may have been even uglier. I mean, the score truly didn't tell you what that game did. The Rams showed their dominance. They didn't get cute with it. We have 5 strong linemen. We have MVP caliber back. But guess what? We just picked up some guy the Raiders just released. Let me showcase him to you too. The Panthers released this guy. We don't need him. What are we gonna do with a back that can run for the past 3 weeks over 100 each week? No, we don't need that. So the way they just kind of like imposed their will on Dallas is like, I mean, after the game, they come out saying that the Cowboys tipped their hand with their defensive signals. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but they still had to run the ball, and you arrive and tackle the guy. They weren't really tackling the C.J. Anderson was taking the first hit and falling forward constantly. It seemed like he was getting 8 yards each carry, and then you take any quarterback and you give him 2nd and 2, or you take any offensive coordinator and let them start with 2nd and 2. You got your whole playbook at your disposal, and you got the defense at a weakness, weakness.
Definitely. With going into the matchup, I thought the Rams would win, but I didn't think they would win in the fashion in which they won. I didn't see them just dominating the line of scrimmage. And I always say big boys win games. And the big boys for the Rams dominated the big boys for Dallas in this one. The Rams won 30-22. They had 273 total rushing yards compared to 50 for Dallas. And Dallas was a team that you came into this game as the one you expect to run the ball. That's their identity, and they weren't able to do it. Dak Prescott went 20 for 32, 266 yards, 1 touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott had 20 carries for only 47 yards. Michael Gallup, he had a pretty good day, 6 receptions for 119 yards, and Cooper had 6 receptions for 65 yards, 1 touchdown. Jared Goff went 15 for 28, 186 yards. That shows you right there like how dominant the run game was, that Jared Goff only had 186 yards, and they still won the game comfortably. C.J. Anderson, like you mentioned, had 23 carries, for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ty Gurley, still a little banged up. He only carried the ball 16 times, but still had 115 yards. Robert Woods had 6 receptions, 69 yards. So dominant performance by the Rams. Dallas, I don't think their head should be down, because no one expected them to be in the divisional round of the playoffs this year. So I think they have something to build on there.
Very few people thought Dallas was going to make the playoffs. I mean, after the Amari Cooper trade, which, I mean, actually both sides, it benefited both sides. The Raiders got a first-round pick, and at the time when they got that pick, they thought that pick may be top 10.
Yeah.
Because I think Dallas was maybe like 3-5 at the time of the trade, and like, oh man, we can go ahead and get rid of this guy because they think he's not going to do anything. He's like, Amari Cooper had his past 2 seasons with the Raiders were lackluster. They were leaving a bit to be desired, especially from a first rounder, top 10 pick like that. But it's like he went to Dallas and was reborn. He and Dak Prescott hit it off, and things started working well for him. But with that being said, their offense is very predictable. They don't take advantage of the playmakers they have. They have players. That is, they're not lacking for players, but they are lacking for offensive imagination. Because West Virginia got Tavon Austin. As fast as he is, he can run the ball from the backfield. He can be a third receiver. He can be a change of pace back, but didn't see him. Amari Cooper, he can run every route in the playbook. But it seemed like he was only running slants, maybe, go routes, and maybe a companion route on like a waggle or a boot. So I didn't see a lot that gave me hope for the Cowboys to at least even pinch the Rams. But the game itself was dictated by the Cowboys trying to, I'm going to say force feed Zeke, but get Zeke his touches. And at some point in time, after 20 carries and you only got 40 yards, you got to I'm not a math major, but that's like 2+ a carry. You can't keep doing that. You got to find different ways. I would have screened them with Zeke. I'd have screened them with Tavon Austin. I'd have ran some double moves because they had that aggressive defense with Sue and Donald. And it's easy to say right now the double move or do something else, but those 2 man children in there wreaking havoc in your line. But I mean, if you really think about it, everybody says that Dallas has one of the top lines, so I want my strength against their strength. So and it didn't seem to happen that way, but Dallas has some building blocks going forward, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them in a similar situation next year with hopefully a different outcome for them.
Very well said. And let's move on to another team that I thought was going to win, and I was very wrong about, the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh. I was. So let's get your thoughts going into the matchup.
Well, I am a Phillip Rivers advocate. I like this guy. I like the fact that he talks trash and doesn't curse. How is that even possible? You talk trash across the field to grown men and don't say a single swear word, and hasn't said a swear word since I don't know how old he was. I feel like they got thoroughly outcoached because if you think about it, the previous week when they played the Ravens, they came out with this lineup on defense with 7 defensive backs, and it was like, oh my God, this is the most imaginative thing I've ever seen. 7 DBs, they have all these versatile players doing whatever they can. Doing whatever they want, and they're able to stop Baltimore's run. Okay, that's that game. They brought that same game plan in New England. I don't know how much they changed, but you brought that same game plan to a guy who has, rings does Belichick have? 5, 6? No, he's got rings from the Giants too. You don't carbon copy a play
game plan.
A game plan forward. Like, you just showed this. And you're going to bring it right back to this guy? He ate that alive. They ran the ball down their throat. You want to bring 7 DBs? How bad do your 7 DBs want to tackle?
Yeah.
And I was shocked at that because with the Patriots, you have a 6'7", pretty much 280-pound tight end. That's bigger than some teams tackle.
Yeah. He,
along with their 5 linemen, and sometimes they bring in a fullback. And you have 7 DBs on the field. That screams, I'm running the ball. I'm not going to throw the ball. Why should I throw the ball? You have to show me that you can stop my run before I even consider throwing it. I expect 10 yards of carry on that. Yeah. But all that being said, I expected a lot more because I really liked the Chargers. I keep wanting to call them San Diego. I didn't think Kansas City was going to be this good this year, just in the preseason. I called the Chargers. I always lean toward a veteran quarterback. Phillip Rivers hasn't gotten it done, and I think it was '07 when he had a torn Achilles the week before, and still played on it against New England, and still played really well. And I don't really remember the outcome. And naturally, the Patriots won, but I just take my hat off to a guy that's going to play on a torn ACL. And I mean, it's not like he was fast or anything. So all he had to do was take the injection, stabilize it so his leg wasn't going to come off, and he got out there and he was a gamer. But I really, really thought that the Chargers would do more, and I'm kind of disappointed, but that's football.
Yeah, and I was very disappointed as well. They lost 41-28. You mentioned the running game. New England had 155 yards rushing. The Chargers had 19. Phillip Rivers went 25 for 51. That's one of my things I always look at. If you have a quarterback throwing over 45 times, a lot of times you're going to lose that game unless that's your game plan.
Yeah.
And he had 331 yards, but a lot of that came in garbage time with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Tyrell Williams had 5 receptions for 94 yards. Tom Brady went 34 for 44, 343 yards, 1 touchdown. Sonny Michel, 24 carries, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns. Julian Edelman had 9 receptions for 151 yards. And James White had 15 receptions for 97 yards, which is nuts.
If you look at that, I mean, the stats paint a different picture than what actually happened. That game, I think in Pee Wee, that game is called at the half.
Oh, yeah, it's mercy rule.
Because Sonny Michel, he tried to win the Heisman in the pros. He got his work done early and just wanted to get out of there. And James White, I don't think people respect that man enough. He should have been Super Bowl MVP when they beat the Falcons. He had a hell of a game. And all he does is put his hard hat on and go to work. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know why people keep sleeping on him, but the guy just does work. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I mean, he pretty much in the playoffs, he goes into the phone booth and takes his glasses off. Clark Kent becomes Superman. He goes out there, does what he's supposed to do, minimize the mistakes, make up for any mistakes his defense makes, and they just keep winning. He's got more passing yards and more wins than some guys have in the regular season. He has more in the postseason than some guys have in the regular season. So, I mean, I take my hat off to the guy because, I mean, we came in the same year. I could say I was drafted before Tom Brady, but I mean, same draft class, and he's still out there. I'm ready to find a bed and lay down. He's still out there playing football into late January still. So, again, I take my hat off to the guy. All he does is he just wins.
Nah, you definitely have to give respect to him. Respect to the coaching staff. Like you said, in the NFL, you're not going to have that big of a talent differential between teams. So when you see one team just mollywop another team, that's coaching.
That's an appropriate term. What happened that day?
Yes, they just took him behind the woodshed, mollywopped him, and that's all about coaching. Like you mentioned, you can't come with that same game plan of the 7 DBs, or at least you got to switch up the coverages, do something to where it's not going to mirror what you did last week, because you know Belichick's coming prepared for whatever you're bringing. You got to bring something different.
And one more thing on that, Tom Brady is not Lamar Jackson, and this is not a knock at Lamar Jackson, but the game plan you brought for Lamar Jackson should not be brought for Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, that's just, anybody should know that. Like, I like to, in football, you can be reactive and proactive. A lot of people are reactive, meaning like they react to whatever the team does to you. The Patriots, they'll show you one way to win this week, and you come in trying to stop that the next week. They got a completely different game plan, utilizing way different people that you didn't even probably remember were on their roster, and they just get it done. Like, it's been games where like Tom Brady throws the ball damn near 60 times. And that's the substitute for his run game. The run game, they're throwing short, quick passes. And that makes you creep up. When you creep up to these short passes, they looking behind you. You got play action pass or double moves, get behind the backers, get behind your safeties and expose you that way. And it just seems like Bill Belichick, and I can't just give it to him, his whole staff is a week ahead of everybody else. And until somebody finds a way to, you have to, in a sense, react to what they have, but also have an attack for them, because you use your same people over and over. So they like, okay, let's just say we're using the Chargers, and the Chargers, for example. The Chargers probably won't go into a game and say, we're not going to run Melvin Gordon X amount of times. We're not going to give Keenan Allen the ball X amount of times. But the Patriots, completely opposite. They'll come into a game and the previous week, Rob Gronkowski could have gone 8 catches, 150 yards, couple touchdowns. So what does the next team think they're going to do? Oh, we're going to key up on Gronk. We can't let Gronk beat us. And that's when the run game and the other receiver, the complementary pieces come in. So until other coaches start working like that, like utilizing one guy, not necessarily one guy, but utilizing a specific type of a game plan and having a counter punch to what they do, it's just going to be the same thing over and over. Tom Brady probably can play till he's 50 if they keep doing things like this.
That's true. And the crazy part about having the 7 DBs out there, when they did decide to pass the ball, they still had wide open receivers. And one play that stands out in particular that really showed the difference in size between Gronk and the cornerbacks. When he caught that pass going down the middle and he broke like 3 tackles, just kept going. It's like he looked
like to tackle an apartment building.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you definitely saw like, okay, we need some linebackers, somebody out here who can do something with this guy, because obviously some cornerback who's 5'10", 180 is not trying to tackle this guy.
He doesn't. They don't want all that. I mean, now you can't hit high anymore. And you don't want to hit low, because if you really hit Gronk and hit him in the legs and the knee, and he's actually bringing that knee up, you might concuss yourself.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's really tough to play defense in the NFL now, because there are so many different ways. You can't tackle them this way. You can't go high. You can't go low, or you don't want to go low, because we're all athletes, and you want to be mindful of the next guy's career. You don't want to take a guy's knees out and he's done. That could be his career right there. But at the same time, how else you going to get him down? You can't grab him by the shirt. If you wait for a big guy like that, you grab him by the shirt, bring him down from behind, a horse collar. There's so many different nose and tackling. It's like to a point where you just go ahead and stop tackling, put flags on.
It is getting to that point. I'm glad they settled down on the quarterback rule. Like the beginning of the year, it was crazy how, especially poor Clay Matthews was out there getting a penalty each and every week just for making regular tackles on the quarterback. So I'm glad that has calmed down, but it's especially crazy to hear you, an offensive player, talk about how hard it is for the defense. So it must be really hard for defensive players out there these days. So let's move on to what was the main event of the weekend, my New Orleans Saints. They took on the Philadelphia Eagles, and in a game where it was a lot closer than I anticipated as a Saints fan. And Philadelphia definitely showed the heart of a champion in this one. They came out and went out swinging, but lost 20-14 to the Saints. Nick Foles went 18 for 31, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, both by Marshawn Lattimore. Alshon Jeffrey had 5 receptions for 63 yards, but had 1 big drop that led to the second interception by Lattimore, which ended the game. Drew Brees went 28 for 38, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Alvin Kamara, 16 carries, 71 yards, 35 yards receiving. Michael Thomas, 12 receptions for 171 yards, 1 touchdown. And Ted Ginn also had 3 receptions for 44 yards. So what were your thoughts on this matchup going in, and what happened that either contradicted that or went along with that in the game?
Well, I thought that the Saints had the upper hand being in the dome. They had the week off the previous week, right? Yeah. The week off to get rest and heal up a little any nagging injuries. So that's the thing you want. You play all season to get that first week by, and just one less game to play. I thought since Nick Foles was in the game, they had a real chance to win, and they definitely had a real chance to win. That my heart breaks for Alshon Jeffrey, because I like the kid. He's a big guy. He reminds me of myself. Only I would have body caught that ball. Like you jump, but you got to take every precaution necessary in a situation like that. Like it's easy to say right now that he should have. Well, you got to do this, but he was trying to catch that ball and get upfield to get themselves closer for Nick Foles to possibly get a chance to go in for the game-winning score. I really thought that if the Saints didn't slap the Eagles early, I thought it would be a game similar to this, and I thought that the magic that Nick Foles have was going to take over again, and it was about to. And I know Saints fans don't want to hear this, but you got lucky. But with that being said, this you got to parlay that luck going forward and don't even make it close, because I cannot wait for this. This is the best, it's like top 4 best weekends in football. Where the wild card being 4th, division 3rd, championship 2nd, and Super Bowl being 1st. But I cannot wait to see this. I really like Nick Foles, though. I really like that guy. Philly has a tough situation to deal with these guys, because you gave up a king's ransom to go get Wentz, but you got a guy that's just all he does is win right there in your house. And if you kick him out and you don't continue winning, it's going to look really bad.
That's true. So, put you on the spot. You're the GM. Nick Foles has this $20 million contract that if you keep him and you have that $20 million contract there, or you can try to let him go and re-sign him. What do you do with Foles? Do you try to maybe trade Wentz? What would be your mindset?
Well, my GM hat doesn't really fit that well because nobody listens to me. But me, I'm eating that $20 million. I'm keeping him on the team, because Carson Wentz himself is. You haven't even decided to pick up his 5th-year option yet. He's only going into year 4, so it'll be a lot of money to spend at that position. But I mean, if you got 2 guys at that position, you can parlay that into other positions. I mean, use that to get stronger at other positions. Where I would that $20 million for Foles. If I didn't have that, I would franchise him and make somebody who really wants him, like a team that's just a quarterback away, or feels like they're just a quarterback away, that really wants him. Show me how much you want him. Show me a 1st-round pick. Show me a couple 1st-round picks. I want one this year, and maybe one. I won't cripple the team and go back-to-back first, but give me your 2019 and your 2021 first rounds for him. Or you got to make this a really sweet deal. I'm not just letting this man who just won a Super Bowl and was the Super Bowl MVP just walk out of my building. With that being said, somebody else may have something that I need. I don't know, maybe a team on the other side of Pennsylvania has a guy that they don't want to keep. Pretty good receiver. You may have heard of him, Antonio Brown. They already said they're not keeping him. That's Ben Roethlisberger says he's retiring. He hints at retirement every year. I would say I'll give you Carson Wentz for your 1 and Antonio Brown. Just dangle that out there. See how bad they want to get rid of him. Because, I mean, it's tough to go from your franchise quarterback, future Hall of Famer, and thinking you have a guy or groom a guy, and he's not that guy, and then you end up being in a situation where you're searching the draft all over again for another quarterback. Carson Wentz, while he may not be a complete proven commodity, he's shown enough. That year before he hurt his ACL, he was in the running for MVP.
Yeah.
So his track record, while it be a small amount, shows that he's going to be a pretty good player. So I would try to use that as leverage to strengthen my team.
That's a very good idea. Something that's very interesting is with Philadelphia being a team that's in the hunt for the championship and everything looks like they should be back there next year. Do you bring in a guy like Antonio Brown, who has the reputation? Now, we don't know him personally, but he has a reputation of being a diva and being somebody who's not a team player. Do you bring him into that environment?
Well, I mean, I don't want to pass judgment on it because I've had a quarterback that called people out before. It doesn't go well. It does not bode well. It doesn't float well in the locker room because you're pointing a finger at somebody else all the time. But when are you going to shoulder your portion of the blame? Because I've seen Roethlisberger go and throw 5 picks and then essentially pout afterwards, say, I'm not that good, I should retire or something like that. Just a condescending answer to the reporters when they question him on it. If you throw 5 picks, you deserve every negative thing that they say about you. Because after the second one, you might want to have a personal talk with yourself. Like, hey, man, I got to tighten up. I got to make better reads. I got to be sharper, or something I'm doing is wrong. But for him to throw 5 in the game and still be able to point and call other people out, I mean, call yourself out sometimes. I mean, it's no problem with saying, I got to play better. I got to do better. It all starts with me. I'm the quarterback. I got to make this. I got to do better. And that is one of the things I've rarely heard from him. I've heard him say it before when he was younger and more humble. But right now I want to see what the spat was and how it's handled. Because right now I'm seeing a situation in Pittsburgh where the head coach does not have control of his team. And I hate to say it, but I mean, if your coach can't control your team, then maybe there's something wrong with the coach.
So that's a very good point. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So today's episode is also brought to you by Brownstown, USA. So Brownstown is a podcast all about the Browns. So if you are in the Cleveland area and you are looking for that podcast to tell you what's going on with the up-and-coming Browns, check out Brownstown on the 3-Point Conversion Station on Spreaker Radio and also on Apple Podcasts. That's Brownstown USA on Twitter and Instagram as well. So make sure you check out Brownstown, and we'll go right back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. We're still here with Mr. Jerry Porter, who's been killing it for us. And now we're going to get into the championship games. And you have been here before. You've been in this situation
Twice.
in these championship games. And one thing I want to ask you about, both these games are rematches. Mm-hmm. How much does that come into play when you're preparing for the opponent if you played them before in the playoffs?
It plays a huge role. The year we went to the Super Bowl, 2002, we played Tennessee in the regular season. We beat the brakes off them. And again, that's like when I tell you how they come in with the game plan of what they want to take away from you. And I don't think they had a true counterpunch to that, because they took away a portion of the game that we played Tennessee in like week 2. And our offense evolved so much after that what they were taking away, we weren't even trying. So we had our way with them doing that. Fast forward to now with Coach Belichick and Coach Reed going head-to-head, they're going to take some things from the first matchup, but they're going to, I believe both teams are going to come with complete different strategies of how to attack. New England's defense throughout the regular season was just nah. I mean, they look slow. Everybody said they're slow. They don't play defense like they used to. They showed a lot of multiple alignments and fronts. But I don't think New England really starts playing football until December. Mm-hmm. So you can't really take anything from that first game when they scored. I think New England won 43-40.
Yeah.
On the late field goal. You can throw that game plan out the window. I think Belichick's going to attack different. I think Reed's going to attack differently. But the reason you play and win, or the reason you want to win as many games as you can, is to have the playoffs come through your home field. And I believe that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have something for New England, and I think they're going to avenge that early season loss and take it away to the Super Bowl.
So what is it about Kansas City that you see gives you the confidence that they can beat New England?
They can beat you every way possible on offense. If they decide to run it, they can go with the Williams boys, Damian Williams, and there's I forget the other Williams, but 26 and 31, 2 backs are coming at you. With that, they have play action off of that. And as much as you want to get nosy and peek up in there, you have to keep somebody in the middle of the field, because I think Tyreek Hill runs 2.9 in a 40. He's so fast he can turn off the lights and be in the bed before the room get dark. So if you take that guy out the middle of the field, you're pretty much throwing your corner on an island, and I don't think anybody wants that one-on-one with him. He is fast, and Patrick Mahomes can throw it wherever. Yeah. So you take that away. I mean, you can't take that away. And then you got Travis Kelce commanding the middle of the field. He's going to command a lot of attention. The play action, they're going to suck up to him. They're going to have to attach to him and Sammy Watkins being back. Okay, that's your left side, your right side, the middle of the field is all taken care of. Okay, so if you're going to go and cover these guys and lend help over the top, then you run the ball, and you got Damian Williams running the ball. So pick your poison. How do you want me to beat you? And that's what I see with the Chiefs right now.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. I'm picking the Chiefs in this game as well. Like you said, they can run the ball with Williams. You got Hill. You can't stop Kelsey. If you double team Kelsey, then you got a single Hill. And you still got people like Watkins out there and other wide receivers. Watkins isn't nowhere near slow himself. So, so when you have that much speed on the field and a quarterback who could literally throw it 75 yards, on a whim, it's tough. And their defense has shown a lot of improvement. They're definitely going to come with a better game plan than the Chargers did.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Defensively against Tom Brady and that crew. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning 31-27. If you had to give a score to it, what would you do?
If I had to give a score, I would say, judging off the weather, judging off the team, and I would say 24-13. 24-13 New Kansas City.
Okay, you got the New England's offense getting shut down. We'll definitely look forward to that one and see if we will both be right about that one. In the NFC, we have the Rams going to New Orleans. This is another rematch as well. The first game they played on November 4th, the Saints dominated and were up 35-10, and then the Rams kind of stormed back, but Saints won 45-35. And now we have the rematch here where both defenses have improved a lot since that game. What do you expect in this matchup?
I expect Drew Brees to be Drew Brees. I expect him to command the field, find the weaknesses to Rams defense, where more than likely it's going to be Marcus Peters. As much as I like the Rams offense and defense, I cannot pick them. He is too much of a risk taker and a hothead, and his actions, he irritates me. I mean, I mean, it's nothing against him. Marcus Peters, if you hear this, I don't want no smoke, dude. We ain't got, I don't want that. You a young man. I just don't like the way you play. The antagonist thing, the whole pushing and getting in your face. Play ball. Yeah. This ain't fighting. If you fight, you ain't got no helmet on. Let's play ball. And the things that he does, it just kind of irritates me. And he's on the other side. You got to keep Talib, and the whole. We've already. It's documented how he acted and how he plays with the grabbing and pulling and Michael Crabtree and all that nonsense. That's not football. Yeah. I mean, it used to be football. It used to be a part of football where you could get under the guy's skin and all that. But I mean, that nonsense. Bush League. Let's play ball. Yeah. And Marcus Peters is a gambler, and I feel like they're going to put Aqib Talib on Michael Thomas because he wasn't there the first time, and Marcus Peters going to have to, was it Traquan Smith, the other receiver?
Yeah, Traquan. We got Ted Ginn back.
Ted Ginn. I mean, yeah. That's a problem because Ted Ginn is a 50-50 catch guy, but most of the times he's faster and behind everybody else, so he can bring the safety net out and catch the ball against his chest. So, and he makes huge catches for New Orleans. So, I really believe that this game will be a barn burner, a high scoring game. But I got Drew Brees being Drew Brees. I got this game coming out something like 41-38. Saints at home. Saints go to the Super Bowl, and then you get that Saints Chiefs game and was it in Atlanta?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
The Saints wouldn't love anything more than to win on the Falcons field and rub it in the Dirty Bird's face.
Yes, I would love that. I have a lot of friends who are Falcons fans who definitely hate me right now as a Saints fan. And part of me wants Patriots to win so we could beat the Patriots in Atlanta and rub it in their face that they couldn't beat the Patriots. Yeah. So, but for me, Aqib Talib's a big part of what they're going to do defensively. Trying to guard Michael Thomas. I don't know if they're going to try to guard him one-on-one or with help. And with Ted Ginn, like you said, he may miss the ball, but you have to respect him because he's so fast going over the top. Traquan Smith is somebody who also has that speed, but he's been inconsistent this year. He's a rookie. Mm-hmm. We expect that. We still got Benjamin Watson, who's still dependent, but he's an old man out there at tight end. But Drew Brees is going to find those guys.
We haven't even spoken about those two backs.
Yeah.
They have an embarrassment of riches, especially Alvin Kamara. He could be the X factor because while you may not be able, I can say you may not because I mean the Rams have yielded a lot of running between the tackles because you have an aggressive gap shooting Aaron Donald and Sue. So if they both shoot a gap, I don't know I never got into how the D-line plays or anything. All I just know is what happens when sacks happen. But if they're, we call it cowboy, and when you go out there and you do your own thing, if they get out there and they start trying to do their own thing, like, oh, I'm going to take this move and go and shoot this gap and kind of like jump in the gap thinking that's where the ball's going, and both of them make a wrong jump and they open up an avenue for Ingram or Kamara, it could be ugly. And I don't know that the Rams have anybody on their linebacking core that wants to be stuck guarding Alvin Kamara in the open field, because he's as dangerous a runner as he is a receiver. I mean, receiver as he is a runner. Mark Ingram, he runs hard. I was wrong about him. I'll openly admit it. I thought he was one of those guys that was going to get paid and was going to lay it down, but he runs hard. Yeah. He tries. He's one of those guys you can give it to him 22, 25 times a game and feel real comfortable that game plan will get it done for you. Those two beasts and Drew Brees, like not enough can be said about this guy. If he were playing in any other era, he would be one of the guys considered as the quote unquote GOAT. But I believe that he's going to be the reason why this game gets pulled out by the Saints. Jared Goff, he's a rising star, but maybe next year, buddy.
Yeah, the one concern I have, we did lose Sheldon Rankins on our defensive line last game. Yeah, towards Achilles. And the Rams look against Dallas, man, that running attack, with us losing our best, run stopper, that's something that concerns me. They might try to, control the game, keep Drew Brees off the field. But our defense, was number 2 against the run during the year. Sheldon Rankins was a big part of that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it can still continue to stop the run. Cam Jordan is also great at stopping the run along with being a pass rusher. So this game, it could go either way. You mentioned how Marcus Peters is such a risk taker, and he's already talking mess because he remembers that Sean Payton said something about him last game, and he was right. Sean Payton said, we're going to go ahead. Michael Thomas going to do double move. He's going to get past you. That's what happened. But I do have an opinion about Michael Thomas. I want to let you know, see if you think I'm crazy or not. I think Michael Thomas is the best receiver in the NFL.
No, far from it. He may be top 10. I can't give him best. He went to an ideal situation. I don't see great routes from him. I see him catch the ball, though. Yeah. And that's all you can ask for because you can't choose who your quarterback is. But you have Drew Brees. I have an expression for a quarterback that is extremely accurate. We call it shirt pocketing the ball. Like, he drops the ball in your shirt pocket. There's no reach. It's an accurate pass. It's the right velocity where you can catch and run with it. Or if he doesn't feel like you should catch and run with it, he's going to put it on your body so you can stop and protect yourself. And when you have that type of confidence, you have a quarterback that has that type of ability, you have confidence in the receiver. As long as he's going to catch the ball, he knows that I'm safe. I'm not going up for a 15-foot high ball over the middle trying to make my quarterback look good. My quarterback knows that ball crossing the middle, it should be on my shirt or low so that I can protect myself so that the next play, I don't have to think about it when it's coming. So, no, he's not the best. He may be the best. He's not even the best in his division. So I like him, though. I like his Twitter handle. Can't guard Mike. Kudos, kid. Kudos. But no, he's a rising star, but far from the best. Far from the best.
Okay, and I definitely have to respect your opinion on that. You're someone who has done it at the highest level. I think the only reason I would throw that out there is that, like, especially this year, Ted was out for most of the year. He didn't have like that second receiver to take pressure off of him, besides maybe Kamara.
Maybe Kamara. Okay, come on now. Maybe. A lot of people would like to have that as their second or the second option where you can line them, like you can line Kamara out in the slot alongside Thomas. Okay, so then that changes everything because it shows you right away what you're playing because you're not going to put a corner on Kamara. Because it could be a screen game. You can go screen game, or you're going to put a linebacker out there that shows your coverage. Okay, if you got a backer out there and we go 3 wides and he's one of them, you put a backer out there that shows you playing man. So that being said, he had a lot of targets and he caught, I think his completion percentage there, or the catch percentage is in the high 80s with Drew Brees. Drew Brees had led the league in completion percentage at a great quarterback. A guy who is reliable with his hands. This is the product of it. Those two guys working well together, they're in the NFC Championship game.
No, definitely. So we both agree. We got Kansas City and New Orleans in the Super Bowl. And do I want to put you on the spot for the Super Bowl?
You can put me on the spot. You're not gonna like this.
So with your, I'm guessing. So go ahead, give me your Super Bowl prediction.
My Super Bowl prediction is the NFL. Okay, I'm gonna get off this for a second. The what was it? Rams Saints game that they had on. No, it was Kansas City Rams, where the Monday Night Football. Very rarely is Vegas wrong when they go with the point total and who's going to win by whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Sunday night I heard them say that the point total was like 60 points. They expected to score between the two. Monday afternoon or Monday morning or so, the point total went from 60-something. No, Vegas had the point total at 60 plus or whatever. I don't know the exact number, but the number was in the 60s. NFL came out with numbers saying they expect 100 points scored. And Vegas, NFL, somebody knows something.
Yeah.
So fast forward to that game, what was the final score? Like 51-49, something like that?
Yeah.
So those two teams threw the air out of the ball, and that's the NFL that everybody wants to see. Offense is the thing. Everybody wants to see offense. In this game, in the Super Bowl, this is going to be the highest scoring Super Bowl ever. Patrick Mahomes is going to be the youngest MVP. Tyreek Hill going to get 200 yards receiving.
Dang.
And I think the final score is going to be something like, let's go 56. I think the Broncos got 55 hung on them by the Niners a long time ago. Have anybody gotten over that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So I see 56-42. 56-42. Chiefs winning. Chiefs get a Super Bowl win.
Wow. That would be an exciting game. I definitely wouldn't like that result.
you gotta think about it. You got these guys in a controlled environment inside the dome. The fast shows how fast they are. It's gonna be more than entertaining. And I'm way ahead. We haven't even played the championship yet. We already talked about going to the Super Bowl. This is my vision. This is what I see. I'm not really going to cheer for anybody because I don't like a particular team anymore. I like players, and I want to see these guys do well, and I just want it to be entertaining.
Nah, I'm definitely with you. Hopefully both these championship games are entertaining. The Super Bowl, if it is Kansas City, New Orleans, hopefully it is a ball burner like that. And we get that game that everybody loves. But I would love to see New Orleans win in Atlanta and celebrate in Atlanta. That would be awesome to see. Man, I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show today, man. Hope you had a good time.
Thanks for having me, man. Anytime you got time for me, I got a lot to say.
That's one thing I definitely learned, that you got a lot to say. So I'm definitely going to have you on again because I know you know more than football, so I got to have you on that, talk some basketball and some other things as well. So thank you again for coming on. We're going to take a quick break, and then when I come back, talk a little boxing. We got a big matchup this weekend between Pacquiao and Broner.
can he get back wild? You gotta smack it, lick it, swallow it up style. A drink of beer, sitting in his chair, hands in his pants, fiddling with his dick hairs. He's a rude boy, a ragamuff, ready to bag another brother that he ranks not rough enough. Cause if it ain't rough, it ain't right. And if he ain't right, well then he's all raw for the light. I love my roughneck and ain't nothing going down or going up if my roughneck ain't in town. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him. I need a roughneck. I need a man that don't snitch like a bitch shed tears or switch. To run whatever it takes to make ends meet, but never meeting the end cause he knows the street. He eats hip shit, fuck, eats hip shit, then it's back to the streets to make a buck quick. Quick to bag, even though Kim had got him here. Hit him with a bit of skins and he's out of there. On the avenue, girls are passing through. Too much of a roughneck, so they ain't having you. Hard popping, always grabbing his shotgun, bragging about his tech is the wannabe roughneck. That's the kind you gotta watch out for. Just to get a rip and pull the plug on the floor. Pissing in corners, doing 80 by funeral mourners, showing little respect, now that's a roughneck. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. Yo, gotta get him. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get him.
Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Big shout out to MC Light with Rough Neck. Classic right there. MC Light, one of the most underrated MCs of all time. Flow was just crazy. I want to give a big thank you to Jerry Porter again for coming through and dropping the knowledge on football with us. Someone who is going to be on the show on a regular. So get used to him dropping knowledge like that. I appreciate it. But now it's time for us to move on to some boxing. Yes, it's a big boxing weekend as we have Manny Pacquiao fighting against Adrien Broner on January 19th. Manny Pacquiao is defending his WBA welterweight title. Now, Manny Pacquiao comes into this fight at 67-2. So that's 60 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws during his career. Looked really good in his last fight against Lucas Matisse, where he won by knockout. And Manny Pacquiao is now 40 years old. So you have a legend who's at the end of his career going against an enigma, someone who is a legend in his own mind, in Adrien Broner. Adrien Broner comes into this fight at 33 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. His draw coming in his last fight against Jesse Vargas. Classic Adrien Broner fight. Starts off slow, middle round starts to pick up, and because he started off slow, he had a draw. Now, in this fight, I truly have no idea what's going to happen. We have, like I said, the enigma of Adrien Broner, who is someone who has all the natural talent in the world. We see the hand speed. We know he has good power. He has heart. Even in his losses, we've seen that he's never been knocked out. He's been knocked down. Madonna got him twice. But even in that Madonna fight, he fought hard, fought back, and made it a decent bout. We've also seen him not prepare, not let his hands go. Against Sean Porter, there's no reason at all that someone with the talent of Adrien Broner should have lost to Sean Porter. Against Mikey Garcia, he was just outclassed. I think Mikey Garcia is just a way better fighter than Adrien Broner. But there's no shame in that. Mikey Garcia, in March, may prove that he's the best in the world. And he goes against Errol Spence Jr. But Adrien Broner has his chance right now to truly prove he's among the elite. If he beats Manny Pacquiao after Manny Pacquiao is coming off this excellent victory over Lucas Matisse, he puts himself back in that conversation. He puts himself back in the big money conversation. This fight is going to generate big money. It's on Showtime pay-per-view. I believe it starts at 7 Mountain Standard Time, which is the time zone I'm in. This fight is truly a fight for the fans because most times you'll know what's gonna happen. You'll have like an idea, and that's when you get the upsets and things like that. But in this fight, you truly have no idea who's gonna win. But let me go over my keys to the bout. So let's start with Mr. Adrien Broner. Adrien, the first thing I want to tell you is that the fight starts in the first round. All right? We know that. The ref knows that. Your opponent knows that. The trainers know that. But for some reason, Adrien doesn't know that. Yes, the fight starts in the first round, Adrien. You can't come out here just chilling. And I hate that I'm not on video right now and I can't display the move he does. But I hate when he does the block, put his hands down, shrug his face, shoulder move. I hate when he does that so much. If you block a punch, put your hands down, throw some punches back. Do not do the face like you're not affected by the punches. That does nothing. It doesn't get in your opponent's head. It doesn't get you points. What does that do, Adrien? Besides get you behind on the scorecard. And if you start slow against Manny Pacquiao, he's going to take full advantage. Another thing, man. Stay off the ropes. Against Manny Pacquiao, if you're on those ropes, he will abuse you. We've seen it with great fighters like Timothy Bradley. In the second and third fights, he was able to get Timothy Bradley against the ropes and just hit him from different angles. And even though Manny Pacquiao is 40, he's still very athletic. You have to make sure that you're keeping your hands in his face. You can't let Manny Pacquiao get into a rhythm. Manny Pacquiao gets into a rhythm where he's going in and out the pocket, hitting you with the straight left. What are you going to do at that point? Right? For Manny Pacquiao, you got to go to the body. Adrien Broner does have a good guard. He's able to block punches. Go to the body, make him bring that guard down, then you get headshots. Also, go in and out the pocket. Be athletic. Make sure that Adrien cannot time you with his counter punches. We all know Adrien Broner is a natural counter puncher with good hand speed. Don't let him get into a rhythm of timing you. With Manny Pacquiao, we've seen him get repetitive in fights where he goes in and out the pocket the same way with the same feints. And against Juan Manuel Marquez, the fourth fight, it was something that truly was a fatal flaw, and where he just didn't change up his speed of going into the pocket. Marquez was able to catch him with the nastiest right-hand counter I've ever seen in my life. Pacquiao was out cold 5 minutes. Now, Adrien Broner, I don't think has the power that Marquez brought that day, but Adrien Broner definitely does have enough power to knock out somebody who's been shown that he can be knocked out. Another big thing for Pacquiao is keep moving. Sometimes Adrien Broner can get flat-footed. Take advantage of him being flat-footed, go in different angles, up top, down, change levels. Truly do what you have to do to win the fight. And I'm truly just intrigued by this one. Wonder how many people are going to buy the fight. You know, how many people want to see Adrien Broner, coming off of, he's coming off a loss and a draw. Now, the draw was a good performance, but it's crazy that he's coming off a loss and a draw and he gets this opportunity to maybe make who knows how much money if this fight really sells like it's supposed to sell. Manny Pacquiao, is this his going out moment? Does he go out on top? Or does he have a Peyton Manning moment? Peyton Manning, his second to last season, looked amazing. Last season just fell off the cliff. Even though they won a Super Bowl, he had nothing to do with it. He was someone who was just standing out there while his defense did the job. Does Manny Pacquiao have a Peyton Manning moment? But in boxing, if you do that, you get knocked out. You have the Bernard Hopkins type fight where you get knocked out the ring. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Manny Pacquiao at 40, going against a 29-year-old Adrien Broner in his prime. Adrien should be focused for this fight. Now, he's had other things going on, legal issues. He's got a bunch of kids. He's got a bunch of distractions. So hopefully he can focus on this fight and it could be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. For my prediction, My prediction, I'm going to go with for my prediction, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Adrien Broner by decision for the victory. Upset, you heard it here first. Adrien Broner by decision over Manny Pacquiao. I think he'll be able to counter Manny Pacquiao. I think this is the fight where we see Manny Pacquiao get old in the ring. And Adrien takes advantage of that and gets a welterweight crown. What do you guys think? Please let me know. That is it for today's show. All right. Definitely appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you follow me at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in Alpha. All right. And if you enjoy this show, share it with your friends. Don't be greedy. All right. Spread the macaroni and cheese. Spread the mashed potatoes. Let everybody get a piece of this because they deserve it. All right. And until next time, go real or go home.